Congratulations, you got your hands on a beautiful blackfish. Now what do I do with it? Well, it's come to my attention that there are some folks that are adult men that live in America that don't know how to fillet a fish. So I'm going to show you how to turn this into that, and I got another one on deck as well. A woman at work, her son caught a beautiful brook trout, like world-class brook trout. Her husband absolutely mutilated it, and it broke my heart. So I'm putting this together. Maybe we can see how we do it. Okay, so you don't got to bother with gloves if you're, unless you're all worked up about it. I don't care. I'll go wash my hands. All right, so what we have here is we have a tautog. You can see they have big crustacean teeth. They crunch on clams and mussels. They got a big, massive tail and a big, long rudder fin and these big helicopter pads. So these are hard fighting fish. They're absolutely delicious to eat. Now, I will say that I am no expert at filleting, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do it. I've been doing it for years, and it always worked for me. First cut on an angle, right behind that gill plate, just around his collar. And you're going to take it all the way up to the top of his head. Just pretend, he's like Butch Patrick from the Munsters. All the way down, like a widow's peak. And then I find the spine, and I pierce it just on this side of the spine, or the top side of the spine. Because you got a big, fat knuckle of, let's call it head meat there. Okay? Now, I've bled this fish already, so he should be pretty white. I mean, of course, there'll be a little bit of blood. You can't get around that. But what I do is I ride that spine right on down. Let the fish be your guide. You just find that line. And if you got a sharp enough knife, even if you got some fucking Dollar General knife sharpener, sharpen your knife from time to time. You don't need the nicest cutlery in the world. I know who I am. I'm a fucking piece of shit guy that's broke all the time. But you gotta know how to fillet a fish. What happens if society breaks down? What are you gonna do? You gonna go be a bitch and ask your neighbor for food? You gotta go figure it out yourself. So these are the things we're gonna learn here on this channel. All right, so we've gotten down along the spine a good ways, right? I reach inside, I go right up to that center bone, right? And then I line up the asshole. So here's the bunger right here, okay? So I take my knife and I shoot over the backbone right towards the bunger. And I ride that bone all the way out, okay? That gives you a little handle like this. Then you flip the fish over, you get back to that bone, that center bone. I'll show you when we cut her open. And you ride it right back up, and you'll feel it bouncing right off there. And you ride it right to the end. All right, and you cut through this little collar if you need to. Okay, and there you have your fillet. Now, these are the guts inside the rib cage. This is the rib cage itself. Now, if you want it to be a weirdo, you could cut this open. Ah, shit, we're here, let's do it. And we'll see what this little fella's been eating. All right, it feels like bony, so look at that. Good old crab leg. So, that further proves the point that these guys eat crustaceans. He was hungry, that was the only thing. Oh, he's got a little something else going on in here. Probably another crab piece. Okay, here's where it gets a little tricky. Whoops. What we're going to do now is we're going to get this fish all the way open, and then we're going to do a starter cut right there. All right. Once you get that, you don't want to cut through the skin. You want to use that skin and let your blade ride on it. Ride it through. If my knife was a little sharper, it would go a little quicker. But as you can see, you're riding along the spine here. You're riding along the skin. We don't really care about that meat over there next to the rib cage because we're going to dispatch that meat anyway. What we're looking for is this fat section of loin over here. And again, I got a shit cutlery. I know who I am. And we're going to continue on and ride it out. And there you go. So that starts your big fat piece of fillet. Now, your next step will be to find the line of ribs. You can feel them, they stick straight up. You find them, you get behind them, and you ride your blade right on out. I'm gonna throw this out. This is my little garbage pile. Okay, then the last step is there's a row of pin bones that come right through here. Now, if you want to save this little piece of meat, you can run right along here. Nah, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna say to hell with it. We don't need it. We don't need it. You got young kids in the house, you don't want them choking on a fish bone. What are you, an animal? You don't want to do that. So, and your end result is a nice, beautiful blackfish fillet. That's what you want it to look like. Man, that's going to be wonderful. If you want to see how the other side goes, on the other side of the fish, what the hell, let's do it. All right, so for a refresher, we get underneath that fin here, find that little bone, there's like a little cartilage area, and you want to ride right behind that, cut it on a nice sharp angle, all the way up as if he was to have a widow's peak hairline. You see how the other one came up there? Now we're coming up all the way up under. Now, step 2, we're going to find that spine, we're going to penetrate, and we're going to ride that out. Okay? Then we're going to keep on going. I like to bring it to the edge of the table on this side of the fish. That way it gives me the flexibility to lean my knife down. Because you don't want to get up into the fillet. You just want to kind of get this started. And again, this isn't a race. Everybody gets impressed by guys that are cutting these fish up fast. I don't work on the Viking fleet out of Montauk. I'm just a regular weekend guy that likes to eat tog. So this is how I do it. If you do it just like this, you'll never miss. I will say, just make sure you don't cut your fingers off. And the stump that you're looking at on my hand, no, that didn't come from a fishing accident. It came from a hunting accident, but that's a different story. Okay, so we're at the point now where we've pierced going down to the bunger, and we're gonna ride that bone all the way out. Okay, there's our handle. We got our handle, and then we're gonna run up. We're gonna run up. Okay, once she's run up, we kind of get through here. Sorry for the sloppy conditions here, but hey, I'm trying to keep this table somewhat reasonable. I still have to clean it, but I don't want it to look like there was a fucking murder that happened on there. Alright, so there's our fish. Our next step, just like I said before, we're gonna run it out. We're gonna start here, and we're gonna ride the skin. Alright, I'm putting lotion on the skin. All right, we're riding out, All right, not a bad job there, Daddy-O. I take my leavings, I put them in here. I go poach the local dumpster down the street, wherever that may be, because you throw this in your garbage, and you're gonna have some stank in the neighborhood. All right, now we're gonna get underneath these ribs. We're gonna get rid of these ribs. We'll throw those away, right? Then we're gonna look for the pin bones that we discussed earlier. You can see them and feel them. They're right here. They run in a vertical fashion. So they're like little needles that stick up. So you get behind them. And then you cut it off, and you're left with side 2 of said fillet. Okay? All right, folks. Well, I hope this helps you.